Hello, friends. How are you? I hope you are good. You are most welcome to the medical biochemistry series. Friends, last time we have seen the structure of tertiary and quaternary structure of protein. Now, today we are going to discuss about the denaturation of protein. Denaturation. So before that, I will tell you that my medical biochemistry series got 500 subscriber, and I am very happy that you are seeing my YouTube channel medical biochemistry series, and you see it regularly. It is very beneficial for your examination, not for only annual as well as assessment and prelim also. So we'll see now what is about denaturation. We have last time seen the different organization, structural organization of proteins or the different levels of protein. So we'll see the denaturation means what? The denaturation of protein. The word denaturation comes means DE, the starting of the denaturation DE is meaning removal. So here you must know removal means the folding form of the proteins, which are the folded polypeptides. They are converted to unfolded form. Therefore, the denaturation is said to be there. Now we'll see the definition of denaturation. Here you can see that the first we'll see the definition. The loss of secondary, tertiary and quaternary structure of protein when, or we can say that exposure to stress factors or environment is called as denaturation. So this becomes the definition for the proteins, denaturation of protein. The loss of secondary, tertiary and quaternary structure of protein, exposure to stress factor or environment is called as denaturation. So in the environment, so many agents are there. I mean, when these agents are applied, then denaturation of protein can take place. So this is the perfect definition for the denaturation of proteins. If in the examination, if a question is asked to you, explain in short denaturation or write short note on denaturation, so you have to start the answer from the definition. The loss of secondary, tertiary and quaternary structure of protein, exposure to stress factor or environment is called denaturation. Now, in other words, we can say that the folding polypeptides becomes random coil after denaturation. After denaturation. So here the denaturation can be explained in other words also. The folding polypeptides becomes random coil after denaturation from the native conformation. Means the native conformation or the native protein will be converted to unfolded or random coil. Means that the first we'll see the folding form of the protein. Here, if this is the folding form of the protein, that becomes the random coil. Means that it is the active protein, and this is non-active. Means that the folding form of this protein will becomes in random coil. Random coil. This is an random coil, and this is an folding form of actin. This is active protein. This is non-active protein. After denaturation, the protein becomes non-active in nature. That is in random coil. So you must know that. You can explain. Now the example of this, we can see that when the folding polypeptides are converted to random coil, the example we can see that meat, boiled egg, then milk paneer. So these are the examples of denaturation of protein. Meat, whenever we cook the meat, then it becomes denatured. Boiled egg, in the beginning this boiled egg will be white, raw white, then it becomes yellow. Okay, after boiling from inside. Now what will happen? This raw white is spherical, which becomes fibrous. This raw white egg will be in spherical before the boiling. It becomes fibrous after the boiling. So this is the example of the denaturation of protein. Now we can see that the globular, you can say that globular protein can be converted to fibrous protein. Just now I have given the example here. The white raw egg after boiling becomes fibrous. So globular will become in fibrous, converted to fibrous protein. Now we'll see the points that only three-dimensional structure of protein is participated in denaturation. Only the three-dimensional structure we have seen: secondary, tertiary and quaternary structure. These are the structures or the organization belongs to the proteins. They are participated in the denaturation, not the primary structure. Primary structure do not participate in the denaturation. Means that the primary structure is not responsible for the denaturation of the protein. Only three-dimensional structure, means secondary, tertiary and quaternary structure. Now what will happen after the denaturation of three-dimensional structure? What will happen? It will be converted to a random coil. Now we'll see that the high order of protein is destroyed. The high order of protein is destroyed in the denaturation of protein. So you must know that the high order of protein is destroyed here, and due to this what will happen? The stable protein becomes unstable. The stable protein becomes unstable in denaturation. Okay, so these are the some important statements about the denaturation. Now we can see the another statement that in denaturation protein forms aggregation and precipitation from the solution. So this is also one of the important statement. In denaturation, protein forms aggregation and precipitation. Now we'll see one by one the significance oblique importance of denaturation. What are the importance? What are the significance of denaturation? We'll see now one by one. Number 1 point, it is important for the estimation of glucose. Estimation for the glucose. ले लो प्लीज, हम तो करेंगे, मयूरी करेंगे. यहाँ गिर गया ना. नहीं ना, ये लग खुल गया ना. Second point is that for the estimation of uric acid, third point is that for the estimation of drugs, some drugs, not all, some drugs. So you must know that the significance or importance of denaturation is for the estimation of glucose, estimation of uric acid, estimation of drugs. And the fourth point will be precipitation or deproteinization. Deproteinization. And the very important metabolic important point is that the very important metabolic point is digestibility. Digestibility, or we can say increased digestibility. Increased digestibility. So you must know that these are the significance or importance of denaturation. Now, how this is important in the estimation of glucose, that I will explain you, and this point is related with the deproteinization. It is related with the deproteinization. If anybody wants to estimate the amount of glucose from the blood or serum, he has to take 7 ml of distilled water, 1 ml of 2/3 normal H2SO4 and 1 ml of 10% sodium tungstate powder. So how much this becomes here? Then 7, 8, 9 and 1 ml of serum or blood is to be taken in a test tube. The total quantity becomes 10 ml. After taking into the test tube, shake it well and filter it with the help of a filter paper. Then what you will see, that the proteins are removed or deproteinized totally, and the amount of glucose can be estimated. Therefore, this deproteinization takes place here. Deproteinization means, I told you the meaning of DE is to remove. So the proteins are removed. After this procedure, only glucose can be estimated. Now for every parameter, the deproteinization process is like this. Okay, so here these are the important points or important significance of denaturation. The another one is digestibility. Due to this denaturation, digestibility increases in the gut or in the, we can say that, gastrointestinal tract. So here you must know in the stomach. So you must know the digestibility, how it increases. The enzymes pepsin and trypsin, these are the proteolytic enzymes. Proteolytic enzymes, which are very helpful for the digestion of the food containing the 3 different constituents: carbohydrates, lipids and proteins. So here the proteins are digested very fast, or increased digestibility takes place. So this becomes one of the important point or significance of the denaturation. Now we'll see what are the agents of denaturation. Agents of denaturation. Now we have seen that in the definition only, that denaturation is the process when the proteins are exposed to the stress factors or environment. Environment means when they are applied to some agents, they are denatured. Proteins are denatured. So here some agents are there, in which number one is physical agent. What are the physical agents here? The physical agents are heat, ultraviolet rays, ionizing radiations, ultraviolet rays, ionizing radiation, and so these are the physical agents. When proteins are treated with these agents, then proteins can be denatured. They can be denatured. And what are the function of this physical agent? This physical agent will disrupt non-covalent bonds. They disrupt non-covalent bonds. Function of this physical agent: heat, ultraviolet rays, ionizing radiation, disrupt of non-covalent bonds. Then the chemical agents are there. Chemical agents like acids, bases, and high concentration solutions. So these are the chemical agents, acids and bases. What is the function of these acids and bases when they are applied to the protein? Protein plus these acids or bases or high concentration solution, they disturb or disrupt electrostatic bonds, means ionic bonds, The interaction takes place between the acids, bases of the amino acids, and the disruption takes place here after the denaturation. So here the chemical agents are acid, bases, and concentrated, high concentrated solution. The third agents are organic solvents oblique alcohol. So these are the organic solvent and alcohol, they are the denaturing agents. Now organic solvents means like alcohol, acetone, urea, salicylate, hydrocarbons, so these are the organic solvents. This will disrupt the hydrophobic bonds. This will disrupt the hydrophobic bonds after the denaturation, or the before denaturation, means denaturation when the proteins are denatured, the hydrophobic bonds are disrupted. Okay, then we can see that some metals like lead and mercury disrupted hydrophobic bonds are seen. Disrupt disulfide bonds of the protein. So metals like lead, metal salts, these are the metal salts, okay, they disrupt the disulfide bonds, and hydrophobic bonds as well as the hydrogen bonds are also disrupted, okay. The hydrogen bond takes place between protein and water, okay. So these are the some important agents of the denaturation. Now we'll see the mechanical means, the agents by mechanical means. Agents by mechanical means. When you take the protein in a test tube, okay, when you take a protein solution in a test tube and you just shake it vigorously, then the bonds are disrupted. Disruption of bonds takes place here by means of mechanical means. Shaking means mechanical means. Now we'll see the process known as renaturation. Renaturation means when the agents are removed from the protein. Renaturation takes place. Means suppose protein plus agent is equal to denaturation. When these protein agents are removed, then what will happen? Only protein is equal to renaturation, because the agents are removed, therefore the renaturation process takes place. Renaturation is reversible process. It is a reversible process, okay. Reversible means that, reversible means like this, okay, like this, okay. So here when proteins are denatured, then it can be renatured. So this is the sign for denature, and this is the sign for renature. After removing the denaturing agents. So you must know that. So this is the process of renaturation. Now we'll see coagulum means what? Coagulum. Coagulum. In this process, proteins cannot be renatured. Therefore, it is irreversible process. I will give you the example here. Example. If you want to see the presence of protein or albumin in the urine, what will happen? I will say you. Urine. Take 3/4 of urine in a test tube. In a test tube. 3/4. Boil the upper portion of the test tube. Boil the upper portion of the test tube. Add 1% acetic acid. 2 drops. 2 drops. You will find on the surface from inside the coagulum. Coagulum will form here. And this coagulum is irreversible process. It cannot be renatured. Therefore, it is said to be the coagulum. The process in which the proteins cannot be renatured. So friends, if you like my lecture, share it, subscribe it. Thank you very much.